So Mad Rabbits Riot Club is a premium art collectibles project. We launched back in October 2021. About a little bit backstory on the team, we all kind of started buying art on Nifty Gateway. So Nifty Gateway, is a fine art, digital art marketplace. And so that's kind of the large breadth of experience that the team had was in digital fine art. Particularly, I focused on collectibles. When we all met in one of the artist servers called .pigeon, we really were just looking into the space and wanted to create something that bridged the world of digital fine art into the world of collectibles, right? With collectibles, everybody's chasing rarity, right? What's the most rare crypto dick butt they can find? Doesn't matter what it looks like, right? So we wanted to create something that people focused on the art over the rarity, and so that's kind of how the Mad Rabbits Riot Club was born. And the whole theme is sort of this punk rock aesthetic with these deep cuts of pop culture from the movie scene. We have a lot of Hispanic Americans on the team, and so we have deep cuts from their culture. When we launched, we also had a series of partnerships with some big artists, Tom Yu, .pigeon, Young and Sick, Lush Sucks, and they all did some one-of-one auctions with us to support charity. And so from the start, really just going into that focus on the fine art, right, and the art aesthetic. So that was about a year ago. Since then, we've launched a few other collections. We had a free mint for our holders on Halloween last year. Earlier this year, we kind of launched our phase 2, which was Gang Wars, and kind of the most ambitious thing that we have done so far. And Gang Wars is essentially this choose-your-own-adventure between 10 different gangs. So everyone who held an original rabbit from the first mint back in October 21 had the ability to choose to mint a new rabbit into one of 10 different gangs. These were themes such as like superhero themes, old school, Dead Boys, like Cartel, Godfather, Latana themed gangs. And so what they could do is go to our website, their OG rabbit, and then select to mint that into another gang. And the unique thing about all this, and we think that we're one of the first to do this, is that each individual gang had its own slew of traits. So we're talking hundreds of traits between each gang. What the neat thing is that all of those traits some of them were tied to the rabbit you own. So let's say your rabbit has a particular set of glasses. Well, if you gangify that thing into the Cartel gang, it's going to come out with a specific trait. If you gangify it into the Motherboard, which is like a cyberpunk gang, maybe it's not going to come out with that trait there. It might get re-rolled. And so there was this like, if this, then what kind of gamification aspect of it where users got to really decide, hey, I like the aesthetic of this gang. I'm going to choose to mint a rabbit from that gang. And they walk away with 2 NFTs, right? You don't lose your original NFT. You get a second one that is now in the aesthetic of this gang. And so that's kind of, we're in the middle of that, right? It's an ongoing mint.
And can you see that? Like if I typed it in on OpenSea, does it come up or what do I need to search for it?
Yeah, so Mad Rabbits Riot Club is the original collection. If you search Mad Rabbits Gang Wars, that will come up with the partner collection. That will, right now we're in the process of working on getting a website rebuild, and so we're gonna have a lot of functionality on there where we can, maybe see if a rabbit has already been gangified or different things like that, right? So right now you just kind of have to go to the 2 separate collections on OpenSea and know which parent rabbit the gangified version came from. But the goal in the future is to have, an easy user interface where you can see, hey, this rabbit was gangified. Right now, all we have is a claim on our website that just says if a rabbit has been claimed or not.
Okay, love it, love it, love it. So one thing that I find interesting with that, and one thing that I just like being totally honest, is you guys specifically said art focused. And I think that over the past while, we've had people that say, hey, we're DAOs, hey, we're doing this, or hey, we're doing something. And it's kind of like a really broad scope, honestly. So do you guys foresee yourself as having a larger scope, or do you say, hey, we're here for the art, we're wanting to do some fun things around that and then slowly progress from there? Or what's, I guess, kind of like the mission as a team?
The art focus is something that we have a lot of background to support. Our art director, which that in itself is unique, right? A project having a singular art director on top of the artist, has over 10 years of experience in the traditional art scene, whether from the business side, from creating art himself. So the art focus is really something that we are focusing on. But the idea is to make Mad Rabbits Riot Club into an art-focused brand. And so in that vein, we've gone through various partnerships, right? So one of our partnerships is Taunt Battle World, who has some novel watch to earn tech that they're releasing with their game. And we are in that game as their first partner avatar project with 3D avatars in their game, right? So we're not solely focusing on, art in this tunnel, but we are branching out while remaining true to that aesthetic and the themes and the values that we launched with.
Well, partners and collabs are a thing that I felt have been an interesting viewpoint because, on one hand, it's introducing a collection to another group of people, but on the other hand, it's like, does it actually add a whole lot of value? So if somebody comes to you guys and say, hey, we want to partner, is there anything specifically you guys look at to accept a partner or collab?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the values that we focused on from the beginning were family and like creating a community that was a family, putting the community members first, really focusing on delivering more than communicating, whether that's been to our detriment or not, lack of communication, but really focusing on delivering high quality experiences to the end user. So that comes from our mints, right, which we spend months at a time developing, creating, from the art assets to the whole blockchain smart contract process that took months to build out, to our real life events. We had presence at Art Basel, we had presence at NFT NYC, we had a Houston meetup late last year. And so throughout all those experiences, it's about providing a high quality organic experience to the end user. And so when we look at collaborating or partnerships, one of the biggest things that we look at is the team, and like, are they a genuine and authentic team who's seeking to provide a great experience, a high quality experience for the end user, and not just look at their consumers as a for-profit metric.
Now, just going through your site and on the topic of collabs, just going down to this partnership with Nifty Gateway. So DeFi Society Studio and Mad Rabbits Riot Club are extremely proud to present our Genesis charity auction drop in partnership with Nifty Gateway. An amazing selection of renowned NFT artists across the world have partnered with us to create mind-blowing one-of-one NFT tribute pieces to the MRRC Crypto Collectible Collection. All of our proceeds from these unique works of art will be donated to charitable organizations around the globe to help combat poverty, fight for veterans' rights, and eradicate human rights violations. Mad Rabbits are riding against social injustice and systemic inequality. Like a family of punk rock Robin Hoods, we fight for everyone's right to a better life. And I'm just going to go through some of the ones-on-ones here, but it sounds like you guys have kind of a mission overall with what you're doing, and you're wanting to, advocate for change. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big focuses in that vein is putting a spotlight on either underrepresented artists, so a lot of artists from the Latin American community, in line with the background of several of our team members, as well as artists who are not Web3 native, right? We did a drop mid last year on Nifty Gateway with a neon artist named Kate Hush. So she's well known in like Vegas and that scene for her neon work, and it's fantastic. And so we worked with her over a series of months to introduce her to Web3, to give her a Web3 experience, and the end users who bought the NFTs a unique experience from this artist who bends actual neon, right, to do an NFT drop. It seems like those things would not work together, but we were able to do that and provide a drop that was pretty unique. So yeah, in that sense, we're trying to spotlight, underrepresented artists, as well as work with artists or communities or partners that need introductions into the Web3 space. And our connections with Nifty Gateway provide us a huge network of relationships with not only artists, from the Nifty Gateway platform, but their, team leads and advisors and strategists and so on and so forth. So it gives us a lot of options to, introduce new artists.
And you guys also have merch on your website, which is something we love in the NFT space. So have you guys launched that fully, or is that something to come? Because I'm curious if there's like any visuals we could look at of it.
Yeah, the merch is already launched. With that sold out, I think beginning of this year, I think is when we sold that out. We recently had another set of merch go out. So we offered a free claim of a Rabbit Waves t-shirt for all of the holders who had a rabbit with a Rabbit Waves t-shirt on their NFT. And so those things have just started to hit people's doorsteps recently. But we're working on V2 of our merch. That's yet to come. No dates on that. Sorry, no alpha for that.
No worries at all. So I'm curious with the fact that the landscape of NFTs continually changes, and I think that everybody's really, really fighting for attention in this attention economy. How do you guys kind of play that right now? Is it something where you're kind of like laying low, going through your things and hoping people notice, or is there any kind of specific activations or things you're doing to get attention?
Yeah, no, definitely good points. Tough times out here for NFT projects. A lot of what we focus on is delivering and, doing things, whether they're activations. Like I said, we've had several IRL activations, and not paying influencers, not paying anybody for exposure, but finding partners that we can work with that have maybe bigger reach than we have, or maybe different reach than we have. Right, Taunt Battle World has reach into gaming, and Web3 gaming, and some other partners that a TBD announcement, but some other partners that we're working with or getting ready to announce soon have much broader reach than even that. And so from the beginning, we have always tried to shy away from paying any influencers, paying any marketers, despite how many times they come into the server, because all of those things just end up being pump and dumps, right? For the most part, you have your diamonds in the rough who can kind of last and sustain a floor price above an ETH, but for the most part, those projects that have people shilling them kind of pump and then just dive down into the ground. And so we focused on organic growth and trying to give our members as much ammo as they have to go out onto Twitter and yell.
Yeah, we love yelling on Twitter. So kind of as a member of a team in this sense, what would you tell people that are getting into the NFT space when they see an NFT collection? They go to the webpage and they notice a team, right? Sometimes we have images of the actual team, and other times it's just the profile pics that they use with names or whatever attached. But what do you think are some key things to look for in a team that's going to actually be able to deliver or create the things that they say? And I'm curious for you as well, what do you think makes your team stand out in particular?
I wrestle with that question every time I go look at a new project. I'm like, how am I supposed to know if this team is going to execute? A lot of times the buzzwords former Apple, former Google, former X, Y, and Z get thrown around. And I don't think that those things actually mean anything for the most part. We've seen so many projects that launch that these former XYZ are just out for money, right? So for me, I try and dig into the individual's Twitter or socials if they're linked. Look for any other projects or anything else that they've been involved in to try and see what's their scope of work. And so speaking for our own team, if you looked at our team at launch day, you probably would not have said, hey, these guys can create a brand, can launch a project and sustain it for, going on, a year and a half now. Because I wasn't any former tech guru. Our team members weren't any former, CEOs of this or heads of this at whatever product development. So I think for me, it really is just focusing on what they're doing, right? If I'm looking at an established project, I will go look at the history of that project. And I would say that if you look at the history of the Mad Rabbits Riot Club project, you can see all of the things we've done provide this foundation for, okay, I can believe that they're going to execute on this in the future based on what they've done in the past.
And for you particularly, going forward here, what do you think is going to be the big thing for the NFT space as a whole to really kind of break the barriers? Because one thing, I don't know if you follow my YouTube or whatever, but I uploaded a video of Dookie Dash, and the comments, holy hell, are like, yo, this guy's an idiot. NFTs are a scam. This is all garbage. And I think that collectively as a unit, it's like we're turning into like NFTs versus the world. And it's awkward to even say that because like I don't even really think of it that way, because it's like it's just like a technology layer, right? Like it's not, hey, we think we're better than anybody or anything like that. It's just, hey, this is, use a landline phone versus a mobile phone. It's just slightly different, but it offers something unique, but people freak out over it. So I'm curious for you, what do you think is going to be like the next big things here for being able to have this kind of like adoption where we're not running into these constant barriers and people just like throwing out hate all the time?
Yeah, I think the key is focusing on the onboarding experience. Too many projects are just, an NFT Ponzi selling more NFTs to people who are already in NFTs. And the projects or the developers or the creators that I'm looking at that I think are going to be here long term are the ones that are focusing on the onboarding experience and the user experience from somebody who's not even in NFTs. And that's something that we're proud of as a project. We've had so many people come into the Discord and be like, Rabbits Riot Club is the first NFT I bought, or Rabbits Riot Club is, the only NFT that my wife actually likes to look at. And so being able to be that first NFT for somebody means that we're doing something right and making it an easy experience for them. And so part of what we focus on too is bridging that Web3 to Web2, right? Each of the team members has a lot of experience in Web3, not just in NFTs, but crypto and blockchain development. And so we know that it's important for the 99% of people who are not in NFTs right now, that they have an experience that's as easy as logging in with Google, to any website when they come into the Web3 blockchain environment. So I think those are the projects that are going to survive, and those are the the partnerships and the things that we are trying to focus on is how can we make these things easy for people to join our brand, easy for people to want to support the brand through measures like that.
What do you think is a project that's done a really good job at bringing people outside of the NFT space into it? Or do you think anybody's done a good job?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Let me try and think of my bags real quick.
Well, I mean, the default answer, I feel like a lot of people that was the reason they got into the space was Top Shot, and then I think the second default answer to that is Bored Ape Yacht Club. But I don't necessarily agree with that. There's a lot of people that are aware of the space because of that, and so maybe by definition that would be kind of like onboarding. But I think that there is really a lack of things that are meant for people that don't want to make a MetaMask wallet.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, that's a fundamental question in itself. Should all these people have to make their own MetaMask wallet? Like, there's a big philosophical discussion in the NFT space, between self-custody and non-self-custody, and maybe onboarding, the 99% of the world is not through self-custody, right? And there's going to be a small percentage of us who are like self-custody maxis amidst the rest of the world who is fine, custodying their assets somewhere else. I think Axie Infinity, onboarded a lot of people from a gaming aspect. Now I don't follow them too well now, so I'm not sure how.
That's actually a really good show. That's a really good show.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's really about thinking outside the box and not throwing away everything that comes with Web 2, which is what a lot of people in Web 3 want to do. They want to Web 3 everything, and there's a lot of good aspects to Web 2, and it's seeing how those things can meld together, work together.
For sure. Torius, heard about Top Shot first. I'm sorry, I'm just checking the chat. Then Nifty Gateway, then various artist discords. Ultimately, MRRC became home. So that's actually a great point. And thanks for the segue point here. The community aspect. I remember, well, actually, first, let me ask, how did you get into NFTs? Was it through Top Shot or was it something else?
No, my first NFT was the MetaKey from Maddie, DCL
nice.
Blogger. So I was looking at, I guess I found him on Reddit and just started reading his threads on blockchains and NFTs. And then I was looking at him and Gary V's VFriends at the time. At the time, I thought, spending $1,000 on a VFriend was pretty stupid, but I wish I could go back right now. But yeah, so a MetaKey from Maddie was kind of my first intro, and he really struck me because of the interoperability. And I still love what he's doing with the MetaKey, and I think it's a huge key is the interoperability of everything across the metaverse.
Yeah, 100%. So to go back to the Notorious thing, I found, and this is from my point of view, so it might be different, but when COVID hit, that was kind of around the time the Top Shot came out, and I remember when I got into that and kind of actually spending more time in Discord because I don't think I really used Discord much before NFTs, to be honest, but it was like, a place to hang out. You weren't able to meet your friends in person anymore. And like the online activity really became prominent. And, in addition to Top Shot, I was playing Warzone, Call of Duty, all that kind of stuff with friends a lot. And then it was like, wow, okay, so this COVID thing's going on for even longer. And then the interest and then obviously the prices go up of everything. So it makes it even more. But there was really that community aspect. And I think that it is somewhat of an overblown word because everybody uses that, but I think it's also a fundamental perk within the NFT space because you are able to find an online community. And the only other way that I think that I've ever been a part of like a quote unquote community is, you know, maybe follow a sports team page, fan page on Facebook or something, and people make comments on that. Or if you have friends that are into a show or something, maybe there's a small group chat that you have amongst them, but there's nothing outside of the box that way. And this is the first time that you can literally spend hours and hours with somebody. And it doesn't necessarily even need to be about that NFT collection, but just talking about passions in general and making new friends. So the topic of community, I guess, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely overblown a lot of times, right? But to me, it's really unique in the NFT space because community provides this access. Before, you had no access to Leonardo da Vinci. You had no access to whatever artist, musician, celebrity, etc. that you support or you buy their stuff. Now you have direct access through an artist Discord, through a project Discord, to the founders, the creators of said project. And so it really brings this intimacy between the end consumer and the people who are selling the product or the service that you didn't have before. And there's, a lot of discussion about whether that's a good thing, whether it's a bad thing. I think in most cases, it's a good thing because, what you see with traditional corporations is that once they get to such a size that they disconnect from the actual end consumer who they're providing for. And so I think what I love about community in Web3 is that access to the artist or the founder on a one-to-one basis. I can just talk with them in the Discord and really provide feedback, as well as just say how much I support the project and how much I love being a part of what they're building.
It's awesome to hear, and it was a great breakdown. So as we're kind of wrapping up here, guys, I'm going to throw the Mad Rabbits Twitter down in the chat. But Thruster, if there's anything final you want to say here in terms of maybe somebody's just tuning in and they're wondering what Mad Rabbits is and why they should join, what is it?
Yeah, Mad Rabbits Riot Club. It's a premium art PFP project, and I definitely think you should check it out. We've got some big news coming down the pipeline, and our community is fantastic. We huge focus on the art, and we'd love to have you in the community.
Love it. All right. Well, Thruster, thanks so much for popping by, boss, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Appreciate you having me.
Yo, of course. Peace, peace.